So hello everybody. I hope that you are ready to hear what wonderful things I'm going to introduce you about our RMS remote management system. And basically, we can probably say that from now on, from this day, Teltonica Networks remote management system becomes an IoT platform for your whole network infrastructure management. And I will tell you why during this presentation. So today, as always, use Q&A if you have any questions. Furthermore, we will upload the recordings today or tomorrow to our YouTube channel and our website. Besides that, well, I'm very happy to have a possibility to have a support engineer at my side. He will be making demonstrations how you should use these new features, and he will show you the real products, real physical devices to which we are trying to connect with these new features. Until now, as I have mentioned, we considered that RMS was a singular platform designed for our device management to ensure their availability and security. Of course, it had, some remote access features, but the core functionality was directed towards, the remote management of our routers and gateways. From now, RMS will have three distinct parts, or services, you can call it. So management is designed for remote control and monitoring and management of our devices, of Teltonica Networks routers and gateways, just as it was before. Also with some minor tweaks and improvements in user interface. RMS Connect, the second part, the second service, is designed to access and control other non-Teltonica devices that are reachable through our hardware. We will speak about this in a bit more depth in a minute. And RMS API is designed to take all of the RMS functions you like and use them and transfer them to the IoT platform of your choice. API combines everything together, so you can use only one software system for your whole network infrastructure remote management. So I will begin with the first part, with the management. I believe that most of you know our features of our RMS, but I need to highlight, I need to remind them also after this part, after the management part. My colleague from support team will show you what differences were made to our user interface of RMS, because it's from 1 week ago, it became faster. It includes more features. So again, the main goal of this management part is just to reduce the time on and costs that are associated with network device management. So it has the same valuable and familiar functions as I have mentioned earlier, and I need to remind you that we can start with alerts and notifications. Well, RMS allows you to use real-time email alerts in order to stay informed on what's happening to your devices, to Teltonica Networks devices, routers and gateways. Also, you can configure special alerts for various events, such as mobile signal strength falling below the certain threshold, also product status changes, and basically device leaving or entering a defined GPS geofence. Another feature is, I mentioned geofencing. Well, with geofencing, you can set on our product, RETOS operating system, but RMS functionality covers not only the features that were created for configuring your device, for configuring our Teltonica Network devices, but you can track them. You can use basically our product. Some of our product has GNSS module that shows you the exact location on the map, as in this background, in this slide in the background. Also, that you have a possibility to track the device on the map and monitor if it works properly. So we have all the status just by pressing on that router in the map. Furthermore, The next feature, which is very important to businesses to plan and forecast expenditures, to monitor the historical data, is activity reports and statistics. With these features, you can create single time or periodic reports and compare information based on graphs and charts. So, like with all things in RMS, one of our biggest advantages is that you can customize whatever you want. You simply mark what parameters you want to review, and that's it. Another feature is a huge advantage of using RMS. We have many use cases, many business cases, success stories that this feature, firmware over the air and multi-configuration, is the key feature for those partners. So let's begin with FOTA, or firmware over the air. As I have mentioned, it is obvious that firmware updates are essential. They improve the overall performance of devices, includes entirely new or updated functionality and essential security updates due to evolving cyber threats. So with RMS management, you can update thousands of devices with a few clicks of a button. That's it. Also, with multi-configuration functionality, you can change individual parameters of any set of our device, no matter what number it is. It can be one device, it can be 100, it can be 1000 of devices, and you can change the parameters in a single window. So you will save quite a lot of time by configuring all your devices like manually, one by one, and just configuring in one single window. That's it. Also, you can use automatically generated charts to monitor the history of the device activities. Charts tracks basically the history of various status changes, as I have mentioned before, like mobile signal quality and data usage, etc. So this can have a tremendous value when looking back with the goal to improve operational efficiency for the future. So now I would like to introduce my colleague from support department, Mr. Tomas Mikolaitis. He is an experienced support engineer, and he will show you the new web user interface of our RMS and obviously the management part.
Yeah, so thank you, Andres, for introduction. So here, it's me, Thomas Mikolaitis from support team, as mentioned, and today I will present those three parts of RMS update. And first of all, I want to start with the management part and the update, what has changed with RMS. So first of all, the first window of RMS, which greeting all the users in the system when they connect, it's the overview window where the team of engineers of the user can manage and see what is happening with the fleet of their routers. And for example, you can detect, for example, unnecessary data spikes or other parameters of the router fleet, what is happening with them, see what is happening with events, for example, an unexpected shutdown, and see that half of your devices are offline, and number of parameters you can see just at the first glance what is happening with your fleet just from this window. Of course, after that, you must investigate what is happening with the fleet and each device individually. And from here, you then go to devices window, devices table. The user can individually configure this window with the table as he wish. With a newly added feature, user can create presets of table parameters he want to see. For example, for this exact webinar, I created this table layout where I can see the devices firmware, the names of devices, send receive information. But again, I can easily modify this with an add or remove other features just to have the best experience from RMS table. Without that, in this window, we have devices map from where we can see our devices location. This map can be, the device location in this map can be added in three ways. So one way is to add it manually, go to device detail devices and just tag it by hand. Other way, if device has a GNSS receiver and you have enabled the feature to push the data into RMS, it can automatically show the device place on the map just from the GNSS part. And of course, lastly, if your device uses mobile operator, as most of our devices has it, and most of our clients do this, every day, once a day, we updated device location based on operator, and to be more precise, approximate device position related to connected cell of the operator. So again, if your device do not have GNSS, no problem. We can approximately show its location on the map based on the mobile network connected. So what going further? So when we're working with the devices, we must go just to those devices which we want to work. And one of the parts we are quite proud of is the tag system, since a number of systems only allows to add one specific parameter or the name. We created a tag system which allows to add a number of tags to your system. And for example, I have created quite a number of tags based on the working administrators who's working with devices. We can assign devices, the type of the device, the way it's located. And with these tags assigned to devices, I can easily I can easily select which part of the device I want to see in RMS and go further, deeper inspection with them to manage them as efficient as possible and as quick as possible. So for example, and from here, when I filter devices, I can go right to their web UI and check what is happening without using a public IP address. And also with this new RMS release, I have ability to have modal windows in the system where I can easily open in one window web UI, another window, for example, I can easily access router web UI. However, if I want to work also with routers command line interface, I can open it in the same window, in the same web tab, and from here, I have access either to router command line interface, but again, I can close this window, open its web UI, and have the communication all I needed. Yeah, going further with this. After, of course, without accessing and just configuring device or monitoring it, what is happening, we have to have ability to, as Andres mentioned, push necessary updates to a device. For example, in case it's a new firmware update, so you can easily go from here, check your devices, update firmware from our provided latest firmwares of the router, or again, you can upload a custom firmware or specific version you wish to push. Of course, also, you can push the backup files to configure the fleet of your devices, 10, 100 devices with just few clicks. For example, you can upload backup file, which allows you to push any configuration file to any number of your devices in the fleet. Going further, and lastly, I want to talk about the management part. This window was in RMS also, but again, from here you can see, access it quite easier, and of course, control it, all the information. In this window, you can see what the remaining credits you have, what devices are currently monitored and have enabled RMS service. And of course, if the license expires, you can enable it manually here. And of course, use auto extend features just to avoid in the future if 30 days passes and you don't want to lose monitoring and control features of RMS, you have to enable auto extend here to have all the necessary features of RMS. Also, if you want temporarily stop monitoring and collecting data from RMS to RMS from the router of Teltonika, you can easily switch here and just to stop doing that part of monitoring and control. So I think just to show what was updated with RMS and interface with the latest update, I think this is part where I give word back to Andrews.
Alright, so this function allows you to reach web user interface of any smart device connected to our router or a gateway. Obviously, the device must have web user interface that can be accessed through HTTP/HTTPS protocol, which represents the majority of devices that have a web user interface in the first place. For this connectivity option, you do not need public IP or any other VPN software. Furthermore, it is very simple to set up. You just need the port, IP address, and that's it. So with HTTP/HTTPS, you can access all sorts of clever devices such as switches, routers, gateways, controllers, CCTV cameras, and VR, and basically anything, any device that has web user interface. Another part of RMS Connect service is SSH. It works very similar as HTTP/HTTPS. It is just designed to grant you command line interface access via SSH tunnels. So you can make a remote connection to other devices behind the router to their command line interface via SSH tunnels. So with this, again, you will not need public IP, and it is super easy to set up. As you can see, the only difference between HTTP and HTTPS and SSH is what you reach. So command line or web UI. You can access almost the same devices, just there's one rule. That device, the end device, must have SSH server. So now I'm heading to the most interesting RMS Connect service, which is called RMS Desktop. So what is RMS Desktop? RMS Desktop gives you access to Windows and Linux machines. Any product that has Windows or Linux operating system installed. So in other words, RMS Desktop can be something similar like AnyDesk, TeamViewer, or SolarWinds, or some kind of other platform. Also, I would like to mention that you need just quite different things if you would like to connect using RMS Desktop. So with this functionality, again, you can reach all Windows, Linux machines in the same network where our router or gateway is connected. It's a must. For example, if there is an office with switches, routers, gateways, computers, laptops, and many more different devices, then there must be at least one our product connected to at least one of those devices. Also, you must know the IP address of the end device, furthermore a port and a protocol, which can be RDP or VNC. Talking about protocols, RDP is remote desktop protocol, which is usually installed by default to computers or industrial machinery. So RDP protocol is mostly used with machinery and computers that have Windows installed, while VNC, Virtual Network Computing, is the protocol used for Linux operating system. However, RDP is more popular as it runs way faster. So I would like to highlight about market share, about the potential that Windows has. Also, you know this, but according to many different statistics in the world, about 80% of all desktop operating systems is Windows. Linux accounts for about 3%, and this graph includes desktop computers, laptops, industrial PC, and other machinery running one or another version of an operating system. With RMS Desktop, you can access virtually almost anything. As an example, both systems, POS terminals, which are equipped with the Windows operating system. Also, probably your local McDonald's that has a self-service POS system is running Windows. Also, manufacturing plants are filled with machinery running Windows, such as PLCs, HMIs, industrial PCs, variable or speed drives, and others. So, basically, possibilities are endless. And imagine that with all these protocols, with HTTP, HTTPS, with SSH, uh, with RDP and VNC, you can access all Linux and Windows devices which have web UI or command line interface. So from today, uh, there are no boundaries what RMS can do. Again, Linux and Windows machinery. So uh, today, uh, we must start looking at RMS from a kind of different perspective. It was a great platform for monitoring and management of our devices. Now it is an extremely capable IoT platform which is able to grant you remote access to virtually any smart device connected with our routers and gateways. So again, I welcome Thomas, Thomas Mykolaitis, the support engineer, and he will show you the configuration examples of RMS Connect. Also, he will show you the exact products which we will be trying to reach, the real pictures, the real products which are in our office. So, welcome, Thomas, and I believe this will be a spectacular part.
So, first of all, let's try to see the photos we have presented for you. So, for example, this is a machine we are using for testing our routers for high and low temperatures. And the one feature it has, without that, it can be accessed locally, but again, we like to use access to remotely to see what is happening, collect data remotely, what is happening exact in that part in the machine. So the one way is to connect root TRB 140 to a machine Ethernet interface and connect it to RMS, and from there we're able to access its web UI to see what is happening with the device inside during the testing process. Other way how to use it. Every company has huge networks, and we are not exception. And we have quite a huge network with huge team. And and this kind of racks closets, we have added a simple root extend device. And with that simple device, with that simple router, we can access the whole network of our system to monitor Dell switches, Cisco routers, connect to Windows PCs, to remote desktop and troubleshoot things, SSH to various devices. So again, quite a spectacular system we are using and enables you as a user to work with. And let's get to the RMS and see how we can do this and what we can do with that. So let's start from the web UI. The feature exists before in RMS and now was updated. So as mentioned before, for example, we have the furnace I shown before in the picture, and we can access it via RMS easily. So for example, just click a connect button, and a few moments later, when everything goes, here we are at this machine web interface, web server, and we can see what it allows to do. And from here, I can press login and go inside system. However, I'm not allowed to do this, go deeper in the system due to security part. But again, you can easily go to enter your credentials and go inside the system. And from here, you can easily manage, see what is happening in the platform, see why it is stuck, or just to change the parameters on the fly, just to make sure that the whole process goes effectively and without time losses. Again, same thing with the printers. Office has printers, and now all the printers are web enabled. And your administration wants to add additional permission, change the parameters user can do. Again, with RMS, you can go to printer and log into it and work with the system itself. And I think one of the most interesting features is that with RMS now we can access other manufacturers' switches, routers. For example, the Dell one. We can create the link to Dell router, Dell switch, which are used in our rack system. Here we can access full access to our Dell system. Okay, sorry. Also, let's get back to RMS. Then we can go, for example, to Cisco routers here. And again, also I forgot to mention that a user can generate links for third-party suppliers and provide the link to able to access device. For example, the Cisco troubleshoot engineer can access your device which are inside your company. And again, use the same link to connect to Cisco router and control it and check what is happening with it inside your system. And just to show what that is properly working and it's not some kind of just photo, you can see I'm full access into Cisco router and see what is happening with the device on the fly. So let's try to configure it one device just to show an example. And since again, we are here to do this. I will add the same Cisco router which are shown. So for example, just the name, Cisco webinar, the address. And of course, Rack Lotus router, since we have to show the RMS through which device we are going to this Cisco. And here I created a new device. Router will, RMS will show the green or red dot if it's accessible, and then just press connect. And from here, we have full access to Cisco router WebUI. So yeah, I'll be talking about access to other devices. Let's go further to remote SSH. So this is a new feature added to our routers. So again, here we have Dell SSH device. The same switch was able to access WebUI. From here, I'm able to access its command line interface, and from here can fully work with this device. However, again, due to security reasons, I'm not allowed to log in here. But just to show you that it's working for sure, I added the Raspberry Pi device. All knows this single board computers, and it's quite used also in industry or just as additional device. So from here, I'm able to access the Raspberry Pi, configure it, fully accessing. So of course, also this part of the window can support multiple terminals, command lines of the same device. So again, you are not needed to turn off the functionality you're using and can easily go between different Raspberry Pi windows. And here I'm working with one part. Here I can do any other thing. So again, working with Raspberry Pi without problems. Again, configuration, straightforward as before, add new remote, everything the same. Device, IP address, port, and of course, protocol. Since we're here talking about only SSH to command line, we're doing SSH and selecting device we are choose. So everything is pretty much the same as with WebUI access via HTTP, HTTPS. Okay, let's go to the new star, the cherry top on our cake of RMS, and the remote desktop access. Again, I created a few examples for this webinar, and one is Windows 10 PC. So let's check what is happening with him. So again, just one button click, and what we can see that in a few moments, I will be granted to log in to this Windows machine. And here we go. We easily are in Windows machine. We can open different programs, go to different webs, and check what is happening with the device on the fly. So any device administrator can go here in this device and add necessary programs, troubleshoot issues, or just help any user to work with the Windows part. Of course, same is with the VNC. I have added the same Raspberry Pi as shown for SSH, and now we can see, try to connect to it. And again, few moments later, I have the full access to my added Raspberry Pi mini PC on the system. Again, I can work with terminal. I can access its all features via RMS and VNC. So let's try to look how to add these devices to RMS. Again, just a few button clicks, remote, add new remote device. Again, write your device name. For example, this was Windows 10 PC. Enter IP address, which is in the network, the port. Select your protocol, RDP or VNC. Of course, if you do not know the port which I use, you can hover over the question marks and it will show default ports for either RDP and VNC port, and all the points are explained and have hints what you can do with them. Again, here you can select the device you needed, and the main difference between those before SSH and HTTP configuration is that now you have additional option, network level authentication. The main difference between this type of authentication is that, as you saw with Windows PC, I have a first established connection with PC and then authorize myself. With Raspberry Pi, I've done in reverse. First, I have to authorize, and then I only can establish connection. So this is the main difference between the button of network level authentication. So keep in mind, some systems works only with network level authentication, other systems works without it. So just to know, when you're configuring, make sure that your system use either one and you have selected one. Yeah, and of course, all the links I was established before are working flawlessly, and I can work in the same tab, just like in some kind of virtual machine, easily opening each window without the problems. So again, you have full access to devices without any need to establish new connection each time. You're just working as a virtual machine in the same tab, no problem. So from here, everything I want to tell about RMS Connect feature. So Andres, continue.
All right, so thank you, Thomas, very much. I believe it was like, you know, a very important feature, a very important segment, and now I'm introducing a new one again, which is also very interesting. It is called API. I believe that most of you know what is API, but I will try to explain it in a very simple example, which is almost always showed in YouTube or other video channels. So basically, API is application programming interface needed to get information from one software system to another one. In this video, you can see IoT platform of your client or your IoT platform on the left as a customer in a restaurant, while RMS is on the right. So a customer orders food from the menu, waitress confirms it and goes to the kitchen. Then she takes the order and takes back it to the IoT platform on the left. So quite simple, and this is how API works. You place an order from the list of parameters to RMS API, and then you receive those parameters values. So this now it's the time for basically the last demo of Thomas again. API part from my side was quite short one because showing is better than just talking about it. Also, I hope that we will not have any how to say problems while Thomas will be share screening RMS API, because when we were testing we had some errors because it was like flashing black screen and white screen. So if you will have this, don't be angry because it's a Zoom platform which just doesn't allow us to make like high resolution videos or something like that. So Thomas, it's a word for you now, and enjoy this demo.
Thank you, Andres. So let's go back to RMS screen. Okay, and we're back where we left. So API. Uh, Everyone wants it. Now we have it. What we can do with it? In fact, everything what I can do with mouse clicking. I want the data, this table data in my platform. You can do with API. Want to have remote links? Easily. Want to add new users? No problem. Want to work with your credits, create code, activate code? Also can do with done via API. So let's go and see the API itself, how I can get to it. So in RMS platform, you go to your account name, account settings, and you will be greeted in new window. So I think you most might be familiar with this window since you have to change the password or enable Teltonik ID features. And from here we have an API section. An API you can have, we have three windows, so access tokens, application parts, and documentation. Access tokens most of like you will be using here, and to get a new token, the key to the RMS API, I just have to click get add new access token. We have select the name of it, and here we have the scopes. What is a scope? Scopes is, in short, are permissions which allows you to access certain parts of the RMS. Just to show a short demo, let's look at devices. I will enable just devices scopes for my access token, and from there we will work to see what I can get and what I cannot get through API with this enabled scopes. Okay, I have created the scope token. Here you will get access token, which only can be seen once. So when you're doing this, make sure you copy this token and save it under 7 logs. Since again, with this, you're granting an access to your RMS account. And if this token is lost, then you have to create new token to access again the features of the API. So again, I copy it, and we have the API token to work with. Just briefly before going to API testing, also we have the application part. So again, in this case, this is the same as a token. You're granting access to other application. However, in this case, you are not using the token. You're using application type or with OAuth. So other way to grant access to your RMS account. Okay, with RMS API, we also prepared a Teltonika developers tool and documentation. This document will be increasing in size and have more and more information for our developers, which will use RMS API. And here you can have all the information, and also at the bottom you will see API reference. And with this button, you will be forwarded to the sandbox where you can test and check the API features. And with this part, I will try to present to you basically what it can do just a bit. But again, you or your developers team can go this deeper and just have all the necessary information of your account for your applications. So again, I have to validate myself, inserting my API token, which I previously copied. I'm authorized now, and let's try to have some devices information. Devices, and my demo will be to show you that I can gather some information from device. So first of all, let's go. What I want to do is get the device ID, which I will use to single device access. So from here, I can execute device, and I will got the answer code 200. to get information, what does this mean, you can go lower and see what responses and information you get. So code 200 means everything okay, I got information about device. If I would be got code 41 code, I'm not authorized to access this. So I will show this later, but again, just to know that all information your codes you get from the RMS API, you can find here in this sandbox and all this documentation. Let's go back. So what we can see, so I have the TRB 140, and let's copy the ID of this device, and let's try to see what data I can get from it using API. So again, going to just a single device information, don't forget to try it out, enable, I pasting my ID of the device, and just I want to insert some fields of I want to access. So to get this information, go again to same codes, free scheme, and from here you see data. If you expand this, you will get all the possible parameters you can get through RMS API using this section, this scope. So for example, I want to get information about the status of the device. I want to get the temperature, maybe not temperature, signal information, cell ID, to which it's connected, and of course, send receive data since gateway was booted. So again, signal part, cell ID, sent, and receive data. So let's see what API will return to me. And as you can see, I've got the information. So device with this kind of ID I have selected. I see that its signal is minus 81 dBms. It's connected to certain operator, this number, this cell ID. And of course, my gateway since boot has sent this number of bytes and received this number of bytes. Okay, so I got the information from the RMS. So again, and you can easily test this. It's already available for all users to test RMS API. And of course, you can easily integrate our RMS into your platforms using this API. Of course, as I promised, I will show what happens when I try to access other scopes than I was allowed. So as you remember, I only selected device scopes and I got the information. Of course, but for example, I want to try access the company list under my company demo. So let's try to access it. What I will get, execute, and I got an error, forbidden. So as you've seen, if you get similar errors or something like that, first of all, I suggest go lower and check what is happening, what is given information. So not authorized access, and I am forbidden here. Why this happened? Since as you've seen before, I have created an access token only with devices access. If I wanted to have companies here, I must mark this, and again, in this case, due to security reasons, you have to create new token to have companies and devices scope included. So about API, it's that. I think I tell what I wanted about API, and if you have any questions, please write them in Q&A. But first of all, I suggest try it yourself. Go to our provider documentation in this sandbox, and here you will be able to use and test our provided RMS API by yourself and get all the information you needed yourself, and not just looking or reading from it. So thank you. And Andres, I think you can take.
Yes, thank you, Thomas. Again, thank you very much for this demo of our RMS API. I believe now most of you understand what it can and what's the purpose of it. So before starting to speak about another interesting thing, which is pricing, we must remind you RMS security topic. This slide explains it. Basically, what is RMS security mechanism? It consists of ID biometrics, email authentication, and password change in the front end. However, in the back end, there is MQTT protocol encrypted with TLS, which is one of the most secure protocols for communication. Furthermore, RMS is based on Amazon Web Services, the worldwide cloud, and without all of this, you can set access level roles to protect your RMS connected solution. So for basically something like read-only mode, when you can only read data, that's it. So now, with additional features, we adjusted our RMS pricing as well. So now I will be speaking about pricing just quickly, shortly, and informally. If you will have any question, just write into the Q&A, and I believe you will have some of them. So from the 10th of September, basically 1 week ago, management price remains unchanged, meaning 1 credit for 30 days for device. Obviously, 30 days trial for free for every device stays unchanged. About Connect, when it comes to Connect, RMS Connect, every company, I must highlight company, using RMS gets 5 gigabits of free data for all RMS Connect related activities, including HTTP, HTTPS, SSH, and desktop. So in real usage, how much is 5 gigabytes of data? According to our estimation, 5 gigabytes is about 1 year of usage of simple HTTP, HTTPS, or SSH functionality. If you will use desktop access for large uploads through RMS, you might consume this data much sooner. For example, company ABC has 1 RMS account with 12 technical managers as users for that account. All technical managers, sales managers have different usernames and passwords, meaning all of them are different users. Total number of users is 12, but all of them use the same 5 gigabytes free data allowance. Once it runs out, you can top up with 2 gigabytes additional data for the cost of 1 RMS credit. Another pricing, the next topic is API pricing. Every company with RMS gets 100,000 requests for free every calendar month. That's 100,000 questions from your platforms to RMS. So if you need more, you can top up with additional 100,000 requests for only 5 credits, and requests are not transferable from one calendar month to another. So once again, 100,000 requests means that your IoT platform asked our RMS 100,000 times information about our devices, like signal strength, data consumption, or any other data. So you might wonder, is 100,000 times a lot or not? Well, it depends on the consumption, how many users, how many parameters wants to get. So this is about pricing. And now, as always, with new products, we release new use cases. But this time is different. Well, because it's RMS. So I will tell you 3 use cases, business cases, where RMS is the center of the whole solution, and it is just supported by other Teltonika Networks devices. So the first one, facility networks infrastructure remote management. So let's begin with the internet infrastructure here. So you have RTX11 as the primary internet source. You provide internet to TSP100 PoE switch and other non-Teltonika network switch. From TSP100 you connect 4 desktop computers, while with another managed switch you connect 2 manufacturing lines with industrial computers that have pre-installed Windows operating system. Also, PLC is connected to the same network, and in addition, RTX11 grants Wi-Fi for field engineers at the site. So all network infrastructure components and all machinery's devices are on the same network. So when we have all devices on the same network, RMS comes into action by connecting to each of them remotely with RMS desktop, SSH, and HTTP, HTTPS access methods. With this functionality, you can change all parameters of those end devices as if you would well be standing just in front of them. So furthermore, you can have your own SCADA software system or another software system which communicates with RMS through RMS API. So this allows to transport data you need from RMS to your SCADA platform and use it as a single platform for access and control. Another topology is about point of sale remote access. So in this topology you see our RTX12, but it is not the most important component here. RMS is. So as an example here we see 4 self-service payment terminals which are getting more and more popular in retail. All of them are managed by machines inside and that run Windows. All of them must be connected to the internet, and this job is done by RTX12. Another part is using RMS desktop functionality that you can use for accessing those payment terminals remotely. So quite often we see in shopping centers that those terminals are out of order, and to solve this usually an engineer must travel to the location place and troubleshoot the issue. But with RMS desktop you can access them remotely and you do not need to send an engineer, so this saves quite a lot of time and money. And for this you do not need any VPNs or public IPs. Furthermore, the next topology is with enterprise network infrastructure. So imagine you have 3 branch offices full of desktop PCs, laptops, and obviously network infrastructure that is consisting of switches, routers, gateways. Firstly, we have our RTX12 dual module LTE router providing primary or backup internet access. Then every network needs someone to manage it. And for this, we either have IT engineers on site or companies responsible for network management remotely. So if the engineers are working remotely, they need software solutions for RMS for remote access, like AnyDesk or TeamViewer, which are usually, well, quite expensive. With Teltonika Networks devices and RMS, you have an alternative. You can have only one IT admin who is responsible for the network infrastructure of 3 or more offices. With RMS Connect functionality, this engineer can access any computer or laptop remotely and start debugging or configuring as if well, he would be standing just again in front of that device. So if a problem occurs, you do not need to send that engineer because you can reach any device remotely via RMS Connect. So you can easily manage routers and gateways via HTTP, HTTPS, SSH. So you can reach computers via desktop RDP or VNC protocols. So that's it. Well, I'm very happy that I had this chance to make this webinar with my support colleague from support department, Tomas Mikolaitis. We have already received some chat messages that it's amazing what RMS can do. I hope that all of you saw the possibilities, the endless possibilities of RMS, that you can access anything almost. You can manage your fleet of routers and gateways. You can basically put everything in one software system and access everything basically in the network. So thank you and have a wonderful day.